Not a whole lot is up, brown coat. Just doing episode 2 of Sunday Smokes. We're starting off my Peterson Orange Army this week with more Elizabethan mixture because I have a lot of that and it's tasty. Just kind of wait to see if some other people show up. Frig off, you. Get out of here. Man of Steel waiting for my new PCP to get. There you go. Sounds like a nice Sunday afternoon. High Caliber History. What's going on, Paul? How we doing? I realized as I was getting ready out here, and by that I mean carefully propping up my phone with an ashtray because someone at Apple decided that the headphone jack should be on the bottom of the phone. But I realized I haven't done my Snub Nose Sunday post yet. So, that will happen when we're done with the live. I put up a story a little bit ago about I'm working with what I got here. Elizabethan in Omaha, honestly, I try to preach, visit your local tobacconist, but I am absolutely terrible about actually doing that myself. I feel super bad about it, but my two places are Ted's Tobacco on, I want to say Pacific and 44th, 144th, I forget, it's up there. Ted's Tobacco, just Google it. And then I like Hearth Cigars and Pipes, way up north there. Those are my go-to spots. Ted's, the last time I was in there, they did have Elizabethan, but I can't speak for their stock right now. You do need another snubby. Everyone needs a snubby. Because there is no better thing to just drop in your pocket when you're being lazy and taking the trash out in winter. No problem, buddy. So, I put up a story a little bit ago about that we were doing the live and what we should talk about, and only one fella actually gave me a subject to talk about, and that is, he said I should talk about how the young kids nowadays are qualifying on their rifles in the Marine Corps with ACOGs, and how, I'm apparently geriatric because I did it with iron sights. Let's open that can of worms. Iron sights versus optics. There's no debate. Optics are better. Have an optic on your gun, unless you're classy. Doc, good to see you in here. I need to get some more coffee from you. That Morning Reaper did not last. The rest of yous, if you don't know, go follow Doc at Doc Blackout Coffee. Go follow him right now and buy some of his coffee because it is delicious. Qualified with irons in the Army. Okay, so optics really are the way to go. You can't, there's no argument, they're better than iron sights. That said, Logan, you need to calm down right now. You are talking blasphemy. That said, recruit training, basic training, boot camp, whatever you want to call it, it is the basics. You are learning how to do the thing at the most basic level, which, in terms of a rifle, I would consider to be iron sights. So I feel like irons should still be what is covered in boot camp, and then when you get to your A school, MOS school, AIT, whatever the Air Force does, that is where you get introduction to optics. So you have the base knowledge of iron sights. You won't be an expert. You won't go out and shoot national matches, but you'll know what you're doing if you ever have to use them. That's my thought on it. This is a Peterson Orange Army. Geez, this is like the 4th or 5th pipe I ever got. I've had it for like 6 or 7 years. That's not a bad idea. Swap into an optic as soon as you've qualified with irons. In actually, I kind of feel like now. See, we're getting ridiculous here because 2 quals do one and then the other. But point being, I feel like irons have their place, and just slapping them on and BZOing them once per enlistment is not the way. Because optics, even my beloved ACOG, can fail. That said, with what it's going to take to make an ACOG fail, you've got bigger problems. Like, you just have bigger problems. Because I've seen things that no optic should be able to take, and an ACOG just kind of laughed at it. Like, it is probably the one piece of gear, or the closest piece of gear to being truly marine proof, is the Trijicon ACOG. And they don't pay me to say this stuff. I just really like them. Now, I think the rifle's going to be in at least 2 pieces if you get to the point to where your ACOG ain't working. Yeah, that is kind of bad. Are you near me? That's spooky. Oh. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I like optics on pistols. I've said this before. It's the way of the future, and I'm not about to deny that. Oh no, oh no. Why are you smelling toast? You know what you need to do if you're smelling toast? You need to talk to Hub City Outdoors, because I chat with him a decent bit, and that man be smelling toast constantly. But optics on pistols, for another example, it's the way of the future. I'm not going to deny that. You'd be a fool to deny that. But my thought on it is, personally, because it's such a different style of shooting, I don't have big sponsorships or anything, so it's like I'm actually spending my own money on stuff. So my mentality is to get ammo and train more with iron sights versus spending what would be a whole case of ammo on an optic, and then another half case ammo on milling or slide work or whatever. That's my thought on it. If you feel like you're proficient enough and can improve what you're doing with an optic, absolutely you should do it. I'll probably catch flack for that mindset, but I don't care because this is my life. So what else is going on? Throw some questions at me. Optics, iron sights, pipes, cool old handguns, whatever. Co-witness qualified. I mean, you could. I don't know how well that would work out, especially when you got big dummies like me that can't seem to decide if they want to focus on the irons or the dot. I've got On what I call the boring gun, I've got a set of ScalarWorks fixed sights, and then I've got an Aimpoint Pro. It's a lower third co-witness, but it's still, it messes with me. You're hearing a little bit of wind, and crap, it might actually be the microphone on my beard there. Sorry. Is that better? I realized that in the last live that the microphone was rubbing on my beard like the entire time. So, it was just a casual chat between you, me, and a piece of sandpaper. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I gotta trim this back. I'll get that taken care of. I appreciate that it wasn't bothering you, but I remembered the last week's video and it really bothered me. So, if this is better, we'll just keep this like halfway in my ear and go from there. Well, micro dots on revolvers. I hope I don't live to see that day. You got stuff like look, optics on a wheel gun. I think should be reserved for silly guns like the Smith and Wesson X frames. And before anyone gives me anything about there for hunting, you can hunt just fine with a Model 19 or a Model 28. The X frames are silly, and I will die on this hill. Thank you, Justin. So, you got your scopes for hunting with those, or just general silliness. Now I'm sure that someone will eventually put like an RMRCC on a Smith 642 or whatever. Do I think that's silly? Yes, I do. Because like the whole purpose of that gun is to be, snag free. Or maybe it's not the 642, the hammerless one. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say though. I think a dot on a 1 7/8 inch barrel revolver kind of, because now you got something sticking out like that. It's going to defeat the purpose of that whole snag free pocket gun, purse gun, whatever. Which, as an aside, please don't be recommending revolvers for women. They are not easier to shoot. I know we've evolved past this fuddy discussion, but I'm just going to put it out there. Nice. 638's an interesting one. I like the older ones. I mean, we know this. But after GunCon and seeing the amount of surface rust that was on my SA-35, I decided maybe there's, as much as I dislike them, maybe there's something to stainless guns. Oh, Lord. An RMR on a Kimber 6s. You know what? Modern revolvers, go nuts. Preference on caliber for J-frames? I like 38 Special. People will say that it's, underpowered or whatever. It's not really underpowered. It was all gas and go for the time it came out, and 38 Special has there's no polite way to put it. 38 Special has dropped a lot of people. So, it's a perfectly effective round. Now, if I were to get like a Model 19, where they say, you train and practice with 38 Special, but you carry 357, personally, I would meet in the middle and just use 38 plus Ps, and that's like the only time I would ever use a plus P. But, no, for this little Model 36 here, I use 38 Special 158 grain semi-wad cutters. So, just gonna leave that there. Yeah, the Logan's absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Logan. The Model 10 or its predecessors or variants past that was the most sold handgun in the United States in the 20th century. Like, it outsold everything. That's what I had heard. It might not be true. You would know better than I do. What I do know is that they were in service up into the early 2000s. I believe a few were even recovered from the World Trade Center. So it's, I mean, if you know what you're doing, revolvers are still perfectly relevant. That said, for a first carry gun, I would still not recommend one. That firmly goes to the Glock 19. I forget where I read that, but if I find it again, I'll send you a link that about the Model 10 M&P, whatever Smith and Wesson happens to be calling it that decade. If I can find the article again, I'll pass it along. You know what? It was your post about that where I learned that the revolvers recovered from the World Trade Center. I remember that now. So. Sorry, guys. I have what appears to be a bald-faced hornet that has taken an interest in me, and I'm not okay with it. But the live goes on. So, wasn't really expecting this to be a revolver chat, but I'm about it. Really. If you can find that picture again, I'd love to see it. Because I'm a firm believer that I'm not saying that police deserve more protection than the average Joe. I'm not saying they deserve less. I'm saying they are carrying something that is incredibly similar, like their overall gear, very similar to what I wore on my second deployment, what a lot of my friends wore in Afghanistan. And that, I mean, that's a whole debate in and of itself. I'm not getting into it. What I'm saying is, old school cops are a vibe. You look at pictures of like NYPD in the 80s with those leather jackets. Whew. So I'd be very interested to see that picture with from 2018 with a 38. Have I messed with single action revolvers? You know what? I haven't, but I really, really want to. Local shop has one of the Uberti Outlaws and Lawmen series of the, they call it the Bonnie, Billy the Kid's single action army. It's got the black bird's head grips, 5.5 inch barrel, 45 Colt, and I'm not super hot on the bird's head grip, but I still really want this gun because I grew up on Westerns, and the first one that ever really I remembered by name was Young Guns, which is hilarious because it goes against the grain of everything else that John Wayne or Clint Eastwood or whatever ever did. That's interesting. The article that you're mentioning there. I've handled some Ruger revolvers. I've fired a couple Rugers. They don't do much for me. They're overbuilt. You can load some silly hot rounds in there and they'll take it like it's nobody's business. They don't do much for me. When it comes to revolvers, double action revolvers, I'm a Smith and Wesson guy. I always have been. Yeah, they're, with the exception of the LCP or whatever, nobody ever accused Ruger of being underbuilt. A few years ago, when I was living in New York, we did a protest to the SAFE Act called the Shot Heard Around New York at noon at local ranges everywhere. Logan, you're right. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's correct. But the shot heard around New York at noon, everyone would, at their local range, would fire a single shot. You know, kind of whatever. But I'm up there doing this one time, and some friends and my mom's there. We're having a great time, and afterwards, everyone was milling about, saying, well, we brought all these guns, and might as well just hang out and keep shooting. And this one fella's walking around, and he's got, it'd be a 6 or an 8-inch Ruger in .44 Magnum. And he's like, hey, who wants to shoot it? And I'm like, yeah, man, whatever. I wasn't super into revolvers, and I was still kind of, oh, if it's not a Glock, blah, 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 blah. I've acquired taste since then. But my mom says, sure, I'll shoot it. And she goes, and all she's ever fired for a handgun, interestingly enough, is a Glock. And I see her thumb go forward to that cylinder. And I'm about to say something, and I decide, you know what? Some people just have to learn this lesson. Now, props to my mom, because it took every fiber of her being, but she kept a straight face when that flash burned her thumb. But she also got a bullseye for it, so then I couldn't let mom shoot the .44 and then me not shoot it. And I mean, guys handing out, free .44, why not? But just a fun little story there. Comped revolvers, yay or nay? Okay, so comps in general, not specifically on revolvers, I kind of have mixed feelings about, because I think it was Larry Vickers put up a post a long time ago about this is why you don't conceal carry a comped gun. And it shows the big old muzzle flash at night. Or the flash from the comp, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm also the kind of person that I don't particularly care about night sights, because if you're properly illuminating your target, you can't see the night sights. They are, at that point, blacked out target sights, so there's not much of a point. So I could get user preference. I don't really have an opinion. I've heard great things about the 19 carry comp. Brownells had an exclusive a few years ago from Wilson Combat. They called it the Opti Comp, and I really wanted to get one of those, but I couldn't afford the $4,000 price tag. So, I mean, like, I don't have anything against comps. I just don't have any guns with them. Yeah, it just kind of, I guess you could say I'm indifferent to them. If it's got it, cool. If it doesn't have it, cool. Now, people that put comps on their guns and, they're trying to buy their way to skill, that is not how you do that. Pipe number 2. 7LE KS320 Joker. Stuffed full of Elizabethan. So keep the questions coming. This one's going to take a bit. Yes, I tamp with my thumb now and then. Be a man. Guns and watches. Good to see you. Elizabethan mixture. I've got a lot of it, and I'm trying to get through it so I can open a fresher tin. As far as pipe tobacco goes, honestly, I like mine a little drier than most people would consider smokable. It's just a thing. There we go. I mean, Brown coat. That's good experience. That's more experience than I've got. I've only got one handgun light right now, and it bounces between a couple of full size handguns. And even shooting indoors, I haven't really, you know, had much of an issue with the lens getting dirty. But again, that's just me. Generally speaking, I don't carry a handgun with a weapon light on it, just because I carry full size most of the time. Unless I'm just being lazy and taking the trash out, then I drop this J frame in my pocket. But generally, I carry what you could call a duty sized handgun, and putting an X300 on that's a lot of gun to have in my pants. Yeah, you know, smoking outside, it's hot here too, but my bigger concern is what are we going to do for these come winter? I'm going to have to like build a bench out in my garage or something. We'll hang out there. Because winters out here are brutal. I mean, at night, flash is flash. It's going to advertise your position one way or another. But this is, if you're to the point of drawing your concealed carry gun, odds are your opponent already knows where you are. Again, just my thoughts, my opinions. I might be super stupid for it, but whatever. About 35. I thought about getting a Glock 34 for a while just because it'd be flush with a TLR1, because that's what I was using at the time. Never ended up doing it. Not because I thought, I wouldn't have it'd be too hard to conceal. I just never got around to getting one. Thoughts on the P365? I have handled the P365. I haven't fired one, so we're not going to talk about that. But my opinion of it is very in line with Carl and Ian over at In Range TV. They said it's a small gun, but it feels like a big gun. And I find that to be a very accurate description. In the hand, it feels like, I can work with this thing, but it's super tiny. So again, I haven't fired one, but, from what I have handled, I like them. I think they're a neat little gun. Are they neat enough to get me to get rid of my Glock 19? No. Yeah, I'm a big dude. I can conceal, a 1911 without much of a problem, so long as my shirt fits my gut right. But, no, I like the P365. The modularity aspect of it is super cool, which I guess that makes me kind of a FUD because that's not the first thing I think of for a handgun. What new carry round? 30 super carry? Or is there something newer and cooler? Either way, the answer is no. I stick with, generally speaking, on any given day, 45, 230 grain jacketed hollow points. Not a whole lot, 2A Tactical. What's up with you? If I'm carrying a 9mm, it's 124 grain jacketed hollow points, and like I already said, with the 38, it's 158 grain lead semi-wad cutters. I'm boring, I know. So, No, I haven't messed with 30 Super Carry. And to be perfectly honest, I would probably mess around with something like 30 Luger before I did. Because me carrying a Luger is absolutely something that should be expected. Because I'm stupid like that. Now, 60 grain, full copper 9 going fast as frick. Hey, speed is a thing. Weatherby figured that out decades ago. I favor my 20-inch ARs for a reason. I'm not denying speed is a thing. The main reason I stick with 45, now this is going to sound like super FUD, but it's also going to kind of make sense for those that take the time to process it, is when COVID hit, we had a big ammo shortage. Now, let's say we get another shortage. It's going to happen eventually. And something horrendous happens. I no longer have any hollow points. I have a whole lot more faith in 45 ball than I do 9mm ball. I said it. I said the thing. So that is generally speaking why I favor 45. It's not that I think it's some magic bullet that's, so much better than anything. It's when it boils down, I trust that big old, almost half-inch ball better than a 9mm. Big old bullets. No replacement for displacement. They all fall to 45 ball, man. I don't smoke this pipe very often simply because of how long it takes me to smoke it. Like, holy cow. Y'all have seen me. For a pipe smoker, I am pretty aggressive about that, and I'm not even halfway through this thing. Rather hit someone with a bowling ball than a golf ball. Yeah, the golf ball will go farther faster. There's arguments to both sides of it, but yeah. At the end of the day, a bowling ball is gonna do the thing. You have a good one too, Doc. And everyone that's watching, I'm gonna plug again. Doc Blackout Coffee. Go follow him. Buy his coffee. It is fantastic. Now we keep Brownco, you in particular, keep bringing up the 19, and I was talking to my buddy Eli the other day, 1776 Duck, and he actually said he's surprised that I don't already own a Smith Model 19. And I'm like, you know what? I am too. I need one. Model 19, 4-inch barrel, big old square butt, because, big butts, and just go with it. I need to get a 19. But I also need, what I really want to get is a Smith & Wesson Model 22 in 4-inch. So you got the big old end frame, but it's a 45 auto. The problem with the Smith & Wesson Model 22 is they're like unobtainium. I can't find, okay, I can find them. I can't find them in the barrel length I want or at a price I'm willing to pay. So there's that. I guess I don't want one that bad. Yes, you do need a 9mm 1911. I do too. I think I'm probably going to end up getting a 38 Super before I get a 9mm, but the Springfield Garrison has really got my attention. And I might be acquiring one of those in the near-ish future. But I've got a gun coming back from custom hopefully soon, and another one going out as soon as I recover from getting that one back. The one that's coming back from custom work, I'm gonna do a live unboxing of that, so y'all are gonna like it, I promise. SA-35 or 9mm 1911. Oh, jeez. I have never actually shot a 9mm 1911, but from what I hear, they're laser beams, especially when you've got a full steel gun and not like a lightweight frame. Super easy to manage and all that. I've got an SA-35, and I tell you, I like it. But, and this applies to my 1985 high power too, I thought I was going to like the high power a lot more than I ended up liking it. Now, that's not to say I dislike high powers. I just probably won't ever carry one. I did at GunCon. But, yeah, it's, as stupid as this is going to sound, it's the trigger reset. I can't get past it. Outside of that, great guns. I suppose it depends on, do you care about smooth shooting or accuracy? Because the 9mm 1911 in a steel frame is going to be the smoother gun. Mags are like the Achilles heel of the 1911. If I was going to get a 9mm, I would, the same day, either if they were in stock in the shop or I'd put in an order at Brownells or whatever, but I would be getting Wilson Combat 9mm mags. That's, from what I have heard, those are the best for a 9mm 1911. Now, what I am using for 45 are, you probably can't read that, Chip McCormick Power Mags. I love these things. These are fantastic. They have replaced my Wilson mags for 45. They're just good. Not that there's any, I mean, I haven't had, the only Wilson mags that have given me problems, again, my experience being 100% using 45 auto, is the 10 rounders. The 10 rounders gave me a couple of failure to feeds. And if I buy more 10 rounders in the future, they will absolutely be Chip McCormick. Both of which can be got from Brownells. So there's that. A while back, I'm just going to throw this in there, so I guess kind of a little half-assed update, is a while back I got some Brownells 1911 mags, and they work great. You know, everything you would expect. The problem is if you're going to unload it by hand. You gotta work to get those rounds out of that mag, and I've taken mine out of circulation. Brownells, I'm sorry. I love you. I don't like your 1911 mags. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's not you, it's me. Browncoat, good chatting. Thanks for stopping by. Stop back again next week. So what else is going on? What are we talking about now? I'm here for you guys. Come making some progress there, so we're not going to be on too much longer, but I'm excited for this 1911 that should be coming back in a couple of weeks. This one's been a long time in the making, and I can't wait to show it off. Y'all are gonna love it. Still on track for GunCon, so not next week's Sunday Smokes, but the week after. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, because I'll be in Grinnell. I might try to do something for a couple of minutes, but it won't be a long one like these, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's also the fact that I'll be running Cornfield Brutality, and will I know I'm going to die out there in the range, so I might be recovering from that death. For legal reasons, this is metaphorical. Any other questions? Anything? Talk revolvers, 1911s, whatever. Optics on handguns, pipes, dinner, cats. I don't care. Let's talk. Well, we don't have anything else really going on here, so I'm going to wrap this up now. It was good talking. I feel like this is a very successful episode 2, and we'll catch you all again next week.